Have you ever considered the outcome of merging a $5 million salary, a courageous demeanor, and a propensity for controversy? You are presented with the wildlife coverage of Jesse Watters. In 2025, the leading figure in cable news occupies a throne crafted from ratings gold. From a concealed scandal that altered everything to a castle in New Jersey, we are prepared to reveal the truth behind his millions. If you activate your television at 8 p.m. in 2025, it is highly probable that you will encounter a familiar visage. It is the visage of a man who precisely understands how to capture your attention. Jesse Watters has formally assumed dominance in the realm of cable news. For many years, individuals pondered who would succeed prominent figures such as Bill O'Reilly and Tucker Carlson. Well, Jesse did not merely fill them. He acquired a new pair and commenced running. In 2025, his program Jesse Watters Primetime is not merely successful, it is a dominant force. It consistently outperforms the competition on CNN and MSNBC on nearly every night. And his other program, The Five, has maintained the position of the top-rated show across all cable news networks for 4 consecutive years. When such figures are presented, management becomes more inclined to approve additional funding. Reports suggest that Jesse is earning a substantial annual salary of $5 million. That is the type of wealth that can transform your existence permanently. To clarify, that amounts to approximately $96,000 being deposited into his bank account each week. While you dedicate your entire year to purchasing a quality vehicle, Jesse is able to acquire one each Friday. However, his fortune is not solely derived from his salary. Jesse is a perceptive and astute entrepreneur. His projected net worth in 2025 is approximately between $10 million and $16 million. This substantial wealth derives from his television contracts, his best-selling publications, and his substantial speaking honorariums. He is highly proficient at generating revenue, and he is well aware of this. However, prior to examining how he expends his wealth, it is essential to consider the manner in which he accumulated it. Because he did not begin at the highest level, he commenced in the cellar. Jesse Watters was raised in Philadelphia, in neighborhoods such as Germantown and East Falls. He attended a reputable institution known as William Penn Charter School, but he was merely an ordinary child. He subsequently attended Trinity College in Connecticut, where he graduated in 2001 with a degree in history. Most individuals believe that television celebrities are discovered in public places. Not Jesse. He was required to plead for his position. In 2002, he secured employment at Fox News. However, the position was not prestigious. He served as a production assistant. Are you aware of the significance of that? It indicates that he was the individual obtaining coffee. He was the individual responsible for recording tapes in the basement of the building. He was earning approximately $10 per hour without health insurance. He contributed to the O'Reilly Factor, which was the most prominent television program of that period. Jesse was experiencing hunger. He was reluctant to remain in the cellar. He began presenting story proposals to Bill O'Reilly. Initially, O'Reilly dismissed him. He informed Jesse, "You are an imbecile." However, Jesse continued to persist. Ultimately, he persuaded O'Reilly to permit him to venture outdoors with a camera. This marked the inception of Watters' World. He would visit college campuses or bustling streets and inquire of individuals with straightforward inquiries. The outcomes were frequently amusing due to individuals' lack of knowledge of the correct responses. It was both amusing and entertaining, embodying the essence of exemplary television. Jesse did not merely inquire amusing, music inquiries. He gained recognition as the individual who would execute ambushes against others. If a judge or politician declined to respond to queries from Fox News, O'Reilly would remark, "Music, send Watters." Jesse would then station himself in their driveways. He would pursue them along the street. One of his most renowned ambushes involved a journalist named Amanda Turkle. She had composed a critique of Bill O'Reilly. Therefore, Jesse and a cameraman accompanied her for 2 hours as she traveled to her vacation destination in Virginia. Upon exiting her vehicle, Jesse approached with a microphone and began questioning her aggressively. It exhibited an assertive demeanor. It was distressing for the individuals he targeted, but the audience appreciated the dramatic effect. It demonstrated that Jesse was prepared to undertake any measures necessary to obtain the story. This bold approach is what advanced him along the career hierarchy. He transitioned from being the individual concealed in the shrubbery to assuming the role of the anchor. However, ascending the hierarchy entails certain dangers. In 2016, Jesse encountered a severe crisis that nearly led to his downfall. He visited Chinatown in New York City to conduct a segment on political perspectives. However, rather than posing serious inquiries, he resorted to making jokes that many individuals found highly offensive. He inquired whether individuals were acquainted with karate. He played the music from kung fu fighting in the backdrop. He even attempted to interview an elderly woman who did not speak English, merely to make her silence appear humorous. The immediate response was one of strong opposition. The term used was discriminatory. They referred to it as superficial stereotypes. The Asian American Journalist Association has formally requested a retraction. Jesse issued a statement indicating that it was intended as a lighthearted remark. However, the pressure was mounting. For a brief period, it appeared that his ascending career might falter, but Jesse persisted. He realized that provocative behavior garners attention, but it also attracts potential adversaries. While his professional career was ascending, Jesse's personal life was on the verge of upheaval. For an extended period, Jesse was married to a woman named Noelle Inguagiato. They entered into matrimony in 2009 and were blessed with twin daughters. They led an ostensibly impeccable existence on Long Island. However, in 2017, speculation began to circulate. Jesse had encountered an individual at his place of employment. Her name was Emma Digio. She was a 25-year-old associate producer employed on his program. She was elegant, ambitious, and considerably younger than Jesse. They began dedicating a significant amount of time to one another. They shared photographs on Instagram that appeared somewhat too familiar. Ultimately, the reality was revealed. Jesse visited the Human Resources Department at Fox News and formally disclosed the matter. Music. He informed them that he was engaged in an extramarital relationship with a subordinate. This is a significant violation in the corporate environment. To prevent any legal actions, the network promptly transferred Emma to a different program, The Ingram Angle. However, the harm to his marriage had already been inflicted. Noelle initiated divorce proceedings in 2018. It was a tumultuous and distressing conclusion to a marriage that lasted a decade. However, for Jesse, it marked the commencement of a new chapter. Now, by what means did Jesse succeed in winning Emma's affection? The narrative is indeed quite startling. Jesse disclosed it himself on live television, leaving his co-hosts astonished. He referred to it as his deflate gate maneuver. He stated that when he attempted to encourage Emma to engage in a romantic relationship with him, she appeared to lack interest. Therefore, he formulated a covert strategy. He approached her vehicle and deflated her tires. When Emma approached her vehicle, she observed the punctured tires and understood that she was unable to drive home. She found herself unexpectedly isolated. And who occurred to be present to resolve the situation? Jesse Waters. He approached and inquired, "Would you like a ride?" She entered his vehicle without realizing that he was the one responsible for damaging her car. Jesse chuckled as he recounted this anecdote. He stated that it concludes with a positive outcome. "We were wedded, but many individuals found it unsettling." It revealed a facet of Jesse characterized by manipulativeness and determination. He perceives what he desires and acquires it regardless of the regulations. Once the divorce was formalized in 2019, Jesse and Emma promptly proceeded without delay. They became engaged in August of that year. A few months later, in December 2019, they hosted a grand wedding in Naples, Florida. This was an event attended by celebrities. The visitor list comprised a distinguished roster of prominent figures within the conservative sphere. Donald Trump Jr. was present. Kimberly Guilfoyle was present. Eric and Laura Trump were present. It was a definitive indication that Jesse had now joined the distinguished inner circle. He was no longer merely a correspondent. He maintained a friendship with the most influential family within the Republican Party. Emma appeared breathtaking in a white gown, while Jesse looked victorious. He possessed the new employment, the new spouse, and the new existence. Jesse Waters is now a father of 4, and his household is quite lively. First, he has twin daughters, Sophie and Ellie, from his first marriage. They were born in 2011, rendering them adolescents in the year 2025. If you have adolescents, you are aware that they can be quite challenging. Jesse frequently discusses them on The Five. He recounts humorous anecdotes regarding their school dances, their mobile devices, and their reactions of eye-rolling at his father's quips. Subsequently, he established a second family with Emma. In April 2021, they welcomed a son. Jesse was so proud that he named the child after himself. Jesse Bailey Waters Jr., he refers to him as a small scoundrel. Music. However, their efforts were not yet complete. In April 2023, they welcomed another child, a daughter named Georgina Post Waters. Upon Georgina's birth, Jesse undertook an action that astonished some of his conservative followers. He took paternity vacation. He remained at home for several weeks to assist with diapering and support Emma. He acknowledged publicly, "I have changed more diapers than I have credited myself for." Consequently, his weekends are now occupied with sporting events, toddler outbursts, and feeding bottles. Music. It is a disorderly blend of two distinct generations of children, yet Jesse appears to flourish amidst the energy. Where is this large family residing? They required a residence that matched their social standing. In 2023, Jesse purchased a mansion in Bernardsville, New Jersey, for $2.8 million. This residence is remarkably formidable. It measures 10,296 square feet. It is situated on a 5.6-acre parcel of land on Bernardsville Mountain. This region is widely recognized as a sanctuary for the affluent elite. Music. It is tranquil, lush, and highly secluded. The home itself resembles a southern plantation that has been misplaced in New Jersey. It features large white columns and wraparound verandas that extend 2 stories in height. You can envision Jesse and Emma leisurely enjoying iced tea on the veranda while gazing upon their estate. Let us proceed with a guided tour inside. Upon entering, you are welcomed by an elegant vestibule featuring marble flooring and a gracefully sweeping curved staircase. It is intended to make a strong impression. The ceilings rise to a height of 12 feet, imparting a regal atmosphere to the chambers. The residence features 8 fireplaces that utilize wood as fuel. That is an extraordinary number of fireplaces. There is one located in the living room, the library, and likely in the chambers as well. It exudes an air of sophistication. The kitchen is the central hub of the residence, and Jesse's is quite spacious. It features 2 islands, one designated for food preparation and the other for serving. It features custom darkwood cabinetry and French doors that lead to the garden. And we must not overlook the library. Yes, he possesses an official library. It features wood-paneled walls and a spiral staircase leading to a second level of bookshelves. It is the type of room where one might smoke a cigar and strategize their subsequent professional course. Downstairs, there is a home theater for movie nights and a wine cellar to accommodate Jesse's discerning taste in fine wines. Outside, there is a guest carriage house. Therefore, when Donald Trump Jr. visits, he has his own residence to stay in. And naturally, there is a swimming pool with cascades available for cooling off during the summer. Prior to assuming the role of the Lord of the Manor in Bernardsville, Jesse was a beach enthusiast. He possessed an exquisite vacation residence in Beach Haven on Long Beach Island. It was a fixer-upper that he transformed into a jewel. It was situated directly on the coast. It featured 4 apartments and open decks from which one could observe the sunrise. He invested a substantial amount of money into it, incorporating a new kitchen and a high-end restroom. However, possessing 2 residences presents a significant challenge, even for a millionaire. In 2023, he sold the beach mansion for $1.65 million. It was a sorrowful farewell, but it liberated funds to be invested in his new permanent residence on the mountain. He exchanged the dunes for the seclusion of the forest. A man such as Jesse Waters would not typically operate a Prius. He operates a military armored vehicle. Jesse is the esteemed proprietor of a Ford F-150 Raptor. If you are unfamiliar with automobiles, allow me to provide an explanation. The Raptor is a formidable creature. It is expansive, spacious, and resounding. It is designed for traversing sand dunes in the desert. However, Jesse employs it for commuting to the grocery store. Music. It has a price exceeding $70,000 and consumes fuel at a high rate. Jesse appreciates it. He discusses it on his program. Music states, the men in the suburbs, many of whom drive pickup trucks. If they do not drive a truck, they are typically conservative. For him, the truck serves as a symbol. It states, I am a resilient American man. He despises electric vehicles and frequently ridicules them. In a viral video, he mentioned that the only electric car he would consider driving is a driverless vehicle, so he could take a siesta. He wishes to hear the engines rumble. Music. He seeks to experience the strength. Have you observed how polished Jesse appears on television? His manner is highly distinctive. He wears impeccably tailored suits that fit him as precisely as a glove. He is not purchasing off the shelf. These are bespoke works. Yet his informal style remains equally refined. There is indeed a clothing brand named Greyers that has christened a pair of trousers in his honor. They are dress chinos. It represents the quintessential conservative paternal appearance. He pairs them with a clean button-down shirt and perhaps a blazer. He consistently appears well-groomed, whether he is performing on stage or attending a barbecue. And observe, music, his wrist. Jesse is an enthusiast of timepieces. He is often observed donning luxury timepieces. Although he does not display them openly, attentive admirers have observed what appear to be Rolex and Omega watches on his wrist. These are timepieces that exceed the value of most individuals' automobiles. Jesse will be in his late 40s in 2025, though he appears youthful. How does he accomplish this? He devised a personalized fitness regimen known as the 20 pounds method. He asserts that this approach assisted him in losing 20 pounds and maintaining a slender physique. It is not a matter of restricting oneself. It pertains to authority. Initially, he prepares his own meals. He claims that restaurant cuisine is detrimental due to its high content of concealed butter and sodium. By preparing meals at home, he precisely regulates the ingredients that enter his body. Second, he engages in high-intensity interval training. He engages in physical exercise for only 30 minutes each day. He does not dedicate extensive hours to lifting substantial weights. Music. He performs rapid, vigorous episodes of exercise to facilitate fat loss. Third, he entirely discontinued the consumption of fast cuisine. No further drive-through establishments. It appears straightforward, yet it requires discipline and proves effective. He appears healthy and vigorous each evening on television. Jesse has an additional source of income that warrants discussion: literature. His debut publication, How I Saved the World, achieved the status of a #1 bestseller. However, in 2024, he published a new book titled Get It Together: Troubling Tales from the Liberal Fringe. This book provided an in-depth exploration of the most unconventional aspects of American culture. Jesse conducted interviews with several remarkably unconventional individuals. He conducted an interview with a professional cuddler, an individual whose occupation involves receiving compensation solely for providing hugs. He conducted an encounter with a transgender woman who identifies as a wolf. Indeed, a wolf. She emits a screech and proceeds to run on all fours. Rather than merely ridiculing them, Jesse endeavored to understand the reasons behind their behavior. He discovered that nearly all of them experience paternal issues or personal trauma. He transformed these unconventional interviews into a publication that sold thousands of copies. He embarked on a comprehensive book tour, Music, personally signing copies for admirers in New Jersey and Florida, with queues extending around the block. 2025 has been an eventful year for Jesse. He has been advancing the boundaries more than ever before. In a particular incident, he became embroiled in a dispute with the entire nation of Canada. He humorously suggested that Canada should be admitted as the 51st state of the United States. He stated that it would be an honor for them to be acquired by the United States. Canadians were extremely outraged. They inundated his social media with hostile remarks. Jesse merely emitted a guffaw. In a further controversial instance, he made an unusual remark concerning men employed at workstations. He stated, "Spending the entire day seated behind a screen results in becoming a woman, as it increases estrogen levels." He asserted that genuinely masculine men work outdoors. His co-host, Jeanine Pirro, remarked to him, "You are seated behind a screen." The internet ridiculed him for several days. However, it continued to keep his name prominently in the headlines. So what is Jesse Watters' lifestyle in 2025? It is an existence characterized by contradictions. He is an individual who advocates for the working class yet resides in a $2.8 million residence featuring marble floors. Music. He advocates for traditional values while possessing a controversial background related to his marriage. He commutes in a Ford Raptor to Project Strength, yet he dons tailored suits and luxury timepieces. He has established an empire through his persona as the individual whom you either love to despise or dislike to adore. He is married to a lovely wife, has 4 children, owns a castle situated on a hill, and receives an annual income of $5 million. He has ascended from the depths of Fox News to the pinnacle of its leadership. Whether appreciated or criticized, Jesse Waters is succeeding in the competition. He is embodying the American ideal with vigor and pride, accompanied by a touch of controversy that ensures continued interest.